disability. Being this is the International Day of Homophobia, I will read from our CUPE Trans Rights Equality statement on transphobia. A lot of people have never heard the word transphobia. Transphobia is the unrealistic or irrational fear of and hatred of cross-dressers and transsexuals. Like all prejudices, it is based on negative stereotypes and misconceptions that are then used to justify and support hatred, discrimination, harassment, and violence towards people who are transgender. In CUPE, we are fighting to get employment security for trans people. We're fighting against harassment. Some of the issues that we're looking at is identity document issues. Currently, we can't change all of our documents to match who we are, and it makes it difficult in situations when we need services such as OHIP or if you're stopped by a police officer or whatever and you show documentation that doesn't match who you are, it can lead to many problems. And I can give you an example of myself who went into a government office and showed them identification which didn't match who I was, and I was escorted out by a security guard and threatened with fraud by the people there. And I did nothing to cause an incident, but I was escorted out, and they were snickering at me as I was being let out. These are the type of things that trans people can face under these situations. So we are looking at in CUPE to negotiate clear protection in our collective agreements and for medical benefits that currently are not covered by OHIP or other provincial jurisdictions. And we want to advance the rights of trans people in our communities by bringing the issues forward. Now, the government here could stand up for trans people and move us forward by adding gender identity to the code. It wouldn't cost them anything to do this, but by not doing this, it is actually costing them money, because every time we have to take a human rights case forward or a lawsuit forward because we were discriminated against, because we weren't visible in the code, it ties up the justice system and costs money. So I ask Dalton McGuinty to please consider us and to add gender identity to the code. Thank you.
Thanks, Martine. And Susan.
Good morning. My name is Susan Gapka. I'm chair of the Trans Health Lobby Group, vice chair of the Rainbow Health Network. Many of you will know us from here before. This is our third time here, and let's just say on International Day Against Homophobia, homo, les, bi, transphobia today, 3 times lucky. 3 times lucky. We have people in the audience. Just received an email, letter of support from CUP-W, Canadian Union of Postal Workers. We have CUPE, Trans Pulse, Canadian Federation of Students. Many people from across parties. This is not an ideological issue. This is a matter of human rights, and I applaud Cheri DiNovo for her strength and courage in being our representative at Queen's Park on this matter of acquiring the same human rights that other disadvantaged groups already have achieved. And I urge other parties and other MPPs and people across the province to call their MPPs and let them know why our human rights are as important as everyone else. In 2000, the Ontario Human Rights Commission of Ontario wrote a report that recommended, and they did say, that by adding the ground gender identity to the code, there would be no doubt legally or politically that transgendered people have the same protections as everyone else. The Chief Commissioner since then has made public statements and published in a report, a housing report, right at home, has confirmed their position hasn't changed. So we do wonder why the Attorney General and the Premier hasn't moved to amend this code to include gender identity so that people like myself and those in our groups have the same protections as other disadvantaged groups already have. It is time to deliver on trans human rights. And we urge MPPs to support this private member's bill when it's introduced later this afternoon, or the government to bring it in as a government bill. I want to thank everyone for being here today, and I don't know, I could go on about why it's important to be included. As a child, I wasn't included, I was excluded, I felt different, and it's really important for people like myself to know that the state has said that they are protected, they're the same as other people. So, being trans, life is hard, being trans is hard, but we have overcome, and we will use that same tenacity to be who we need to be to acquire our human rights. It's time to deliver on trans human rights.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Martine. Thank you all for being here and all also witnessing this in our audience who didn't have room. We didn't have room for in the panel. So now we're going to go up to question period and find out what the government's going to do about this. Thanks for watching.